Hi everyone, welcome to Kate Bonnie Country. Thanks so much for stopping by. You can call me Kate. Come along on a walk around the garden to see what's growing. This white rose bush isn't doing very well. I think most of the branches have actually died off, and that is partially our fault. It did not get pruned last fall as it should have. However, the pink rose is doing wonderfully. Next, I tried to plant some lemon balm. I think I may have dropped it in a little too early before the last frost, and it just did not take. There's always going to be failures when you're trying to garden. Next up is the cabbage patch and romaine lettuce. I actually started these plants indoors, but again, I put them in the ground too early. They died off, and I'm not sure if they're going to come back. Except I do think there's one plant here, I think, that is a romaine lettuce that survived the frost and might produce. But at this stage, I'm really not sure what I'm looking at. Next up, we have peppers. The Thai chili peppers are doing amazing. And right here, I need to come through every so often and pull out the weeds. That is a bell pepper that started to sprout inside of the pepper. And I have planted other seeds that looks like they're just now starting to come up. And this is where some jalapeno peppers are starting to come up. Yes, I am doing this as a voiceover with the original sound in the background. Oh, there's a little jalapeno. They're just now starting to push through the soil. Next up, we have parsnips and carrots. Now, like I said, I am doing this as a voiceover. I'm just not that very good at commentating on the fly. So I am still trying to figure out. I think that is a parsnip, and that is grass that needs to come out. My big issue here with the parsnips and carrots is I really don't know what seedlings are supposed to look like because I've never tried to grow either of them. So I am just walking around trying to figure out what's parsnip, what's carrot, and what needs to come out. We also had an issue on the day I was planting the seeds, and there was a high wind. So a lot of the seeds just kind of scattered. And I had to return later with pruning shears to cut out some vines that were invading the patch. Next up is onions. This line is green onions. I planted them directly in the soil as seeds, and they are just starting to push through the soil. You can see they're tiny, tiny, tiny little thread-like strands. And now these are sweet yellow onions. These were actually planted before the last frost. And they've come up at different rates. I have some that are fairly tall and taken very well, and others that are just barely pushing through the soil. We're moving straight on to our potatoes. I planted 11 Yukon Gold potatoes. I think there's 6 or 7 that are pushing through the soil at this time. You can see I'm just sitting there trying to count them out now. Then right next, that's a little Yukon Gold that's pushing through. Then right next to those, I planted 6 russet. And there are about 4 of the russets pushing through the soil now. That's what they look at like as they're pushing through the soil. And then that's just a weed. That's just weed that's got to come out. It's in every single one of my patches. And these are Japanese purple sweet potatoes. I planted 3, I think. Yeah. I planted 3 slips. Oh, something's been eating on that leaf. 2 of them took, and one of them, oh, I can't even find where it was planted now. It should be somewhere over here, but I'm not feeling it. I'm going to assume it just kind of failed and collapsed. I also planted 3 Beauregard sweet potatoes. I rooted those and placed them in the soil. It looks like 2 of them are trying to push through, but I'm pretty sure the 3rd one has just completely failed. See, that's a tiny little bit that might be pushing up. Next up is asparagus. Now, asparagus will self-propagate, but it takes about 3 years for it to mature and begin producing and harvesting. All of these were started indoors. I think there's 7 or 8 of them that continued to thrive. Several of them did die off. I have gone back through and planted seeds directly into the soil, hoping to sprout a few more. Right next to the asparagus, we have okra. When I planted the okra, I stuck 2 to 3 seeds together, and I'm just about at the point where I have to start thinning them. When one plant looks like it's doing better and thriving, and a 2nd or 3rd plant isn't doing so hot, you have to pluck them out and cull them. But in some instances, it's hard to tell which is the stronger plant, so I'm going to give them another week or 2 before I completely cull out the excess seedlings. Next up is the sweet peas. They are just starting to push through the soil, so I haven't weeded out here very much. I've got a few pods, like I really need to weed around that one. Over here, that entire patch should be covered with sweet peas. And I don't know, I've got about a dozen plants coming up so far. Then let's see, right next to the sweet peas, we have green beans. The green beans have sprouted. They are doing amazing. I should get a good crop off of them. The very first thing we planted were sugar snap snow peas. They are just now starting to bloom. That is the first blossom I have seen on them. They're mostly very, very sturdy vines, except this one. This one doesn't seem to be doing very well, but they will root anywhere that the vine lays. So taking a look at this end, there is part still on the ground that might be rooted. I'm going to leave it alone. It might come back and produce something. It might not. This entire garden is pretty much just an experiment. I have never in my life gardened this much. My mother had the green thumb, and so did my grandfather. The entire gardening got started by my idea to grow my own pumpkins to make the oatmeal pumpkin treats for the dogs. Well, these are the pumpkins. I have about 16 very healthy pumpkin vines growing. I'm very proud of them. I should have an excellent crop this year. Now, when I planted them, just a day or 2 later, there was a major rainstorm, and I think some of the seeds may have washed downhill because I did not plant them this far down. And there's one late starter in and amongst them. Next to the pumpkins, I planted cantaloupe. I planted the cantaloupe seeds directly into the ground. But I tried to start honeydew on the inside. Yes, I do need to come out and weed this now that I can clearly tell. I think I have 3 honeydew plants that have survived, but there might only be 2 now. Finishing out the melon series, I planted watermelons. I don't have very many of those clearly sprouting yet. And once again, I really don't want to weed until I know how many melon plants I have up. I have at least 4 identified. Then we go into the 3 types of squash. I have acorn squash that is up and growing like crazy. Next to the acorn squash is butternut. Several of the butternut plants, and then we finish it off with zucchini. So that's the garden, everyone. I will keep you updated as things begin to bloom and produce fruits and vegetables. Feel free to stop by anytime.